In 1619, our ancestors were brought to a place called Fort Comfort, Virginia. I know you were told in school that it was Jamestown. That is just one of many untruths that have endured over the 400 years we have been in this Western Hemisphere. In 1863, New Year's Day, we were freed from bondage. We had served exclusively at the whim of the white man, but at the concluding months of the Civil War, Lincoln and his generals understood that without the support of their enslaved, the South would lose the war sooner. Can you imagine that New Year's Eve of 1863? Around fires with none of the fanfare we have today to bring in the new year. I'm sure they were hungry. This was wartime. I'm sure they were fearful. Our ancestors banded together, some in prayer, some enjoying the corn liquor they were able to secure, eagerly waiting for their freedom. For their freedom. For their freedom. For freedom was a word that held the definition of for them that was to come to pass for some, but certainly not for most. For it would turn out that they would be far from free. For how could they exist without the black man and his free labor? So they invented something we know as Jim Crow to keep us in our place. Not allowed to earn a decent wage, not allowed to travel at will, chained to the cotton fields as tenant farmers, just as in the past, not allowed to attend school, told that separate but equal was the way their lives would be. But we did not give up hope. Although disappointed by emancipation, we kept striving for that real emancipation. We have come through mighty struggles, but we have also accomplished mighty things. We elected one with undeniable African blood as President of the United States. And we have, in this most turbulent year of 2020, with our brothers and sisters still being murdered by law enforcement, with many of our youth succumbing to every trap that the designers of systemic racism have set, succumbing to a culture that is counterculture to success of creating an atmosphere anti-education, anti-wholesome relationships, and anti-capital and nation building, with the capture of our music and our talent to produce entertainment that does not lift up but destroys, with those who have made it to the top losing the understanding of those conditions that kept many of us at the bottom, condemning those of us who are still struggling in our red line neighborhoods with insufficient funds for health care and schools that should be the right of every citizen. With our citizenship still being challenged, we still rise. Let us remember the warning of Frederick Douglass, who was concerned about the euphoria blacks were feeling during Reconstruction. He warned his brethren to distinguish between what was seeming and what was real. He warned his constituents to not be absorbed by the delirium of enthusiasm. He went on to say, the settled habits of a nation are mightier than a statute or a law, and I might add, a promise. We need to be as careful in 2021 as we have always been. I know we are pleased with the Biden-Harris team. Their efforts and intentions might be honorable. But we know what we have witnessed over the past 4 years. Those that led the country astray are still here. Their habits and that of their followers, some of them who are of a darker hue, are still with them. They did not have a metamorphosis. We cannot depend on others to do for us. Each one of us is responsible for the uplift of our people. As King reminded us, we are all interrelated. We are all caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied into a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. The God who has brought us thus far will not forsake us. We must not forsake ourselves. But the spirit of the time says that we must achieve an intellectual and social consciousness that will propel us towards doing a greater work, becoming responsible for creating systems of change that will improve all of society. Those ancestors who endured the Middle Passage, the tobacco fields of Virginia, the cotton fields of Mississippi, the docks of New York and New Jersey, Normandy, the Great Depression, the battlefields of Vietnam, the kitchens of New Rochelle, the sweatshops of Newark. Those workers paved the way for us. We cannot let them down. We cannot let ourselves down. We must keep fighting. We must keep resisting. We must keep agitating, and we must keep praying. For we are shadowed beneath the hand of the Almighty Spirit, and will stand with us as long as we stay true to our God and true to our native land. The struggle continues. I thank the positive community for really keeping us positive, keeping our eyes on the prize, for presenting programs like the one we have today, for publishing a magazine that keeps our focus on the needs of our people. I thank them. They are doing a mighty work. Happy Emancipation Day to one and all.